Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Alan.
And I'm Jorge.
And today our guest is Mario Cervantes. Mario, home mortgage loan officer.
Yes, sir.
And what's the name of the mortgage company that you're working for?
So I'm with American Dream Mortgage.
American Dream Mortgage.
Yeah.
I've actually worked with the lady that works there. I forgot her name.
Claudia.
Claudia?
Yeah, Claudia.
Chapman? Yeah.
Yeah, she's really nice. She's really experienced. She's been in the game for a while. She's also bilingual.
Yeah.
It's not really a surprise that I feel like you got into that business because you've always been really in the banking side of things. Ever since I met you, I feel like you for sure have like at least 10, 12 years of worth of banking experience, huh?
I don't know about 12, but a little bit over 10 years. So,
A little bit over 10 years,
I was
that's
a little nervous, doing that transition just because all I knew for the last 10 years was, banking. But one of the things, being licensed and looking for a place to be, I noticed that they help a lot of our Hispanic community, which I'm really involved here in Salem. And then I heard really good things about Claudia, how she helps our community, and not just the Hispanic community, but overall, like the whole Salem area and the Willamette Valley. So I got good recommendations. I met with them, sat with them. They seem really friendly, kind of like family, and that's something I was looking for. And I was also looking for something more, something like more family oriented, and also feeling having a good mentor to help me out succeed in this industry, which is paying out pretty good.
I think that's one of the most important things because I feel like a lot of people get into the home mortgage business, but I feel like what can make or break someone is really like who their mentor is, who they work under. Because there's a lot of home mortgage brokers in town, but I feel like it has a lot to do, and she's a personable person, so I think that helps a lot too.
That helps a lot. Yeah.
But I think you kind of had to step up compared to a lot of people just because of your banking experience. I feel like it's kind of similar. It's not the same thing, but I feel like it's kind of similar. And you've already built a pretty good rapport with a lot of people in town. A lot of people know you, so I feel like that matters too because they're just a lot more comfortable with you and they don't mind calling you and asking you questions and stuff compared to like someone they don't know.
No, yeah, definitely. Helped a lot of business clients. Was the relation manager here in Salem, so I helped a lot of helped initiate their businesses, their finances, and then customer service. I was able to get a lot of opportunity there, previously at the banking location where I was at. And then due to that experience, it helped me create a really good transition over to where I'm at right now as a lender. So it's actually been working really great because I having flexibility about things I couldn't do before. I was more restricted. Being a lender, I have more opportunities who I can work with, associate with myself, and people that has the same visions as I. So I like that. I can associate myself with people that has the same vision to help my community. So I definitely enjoy that.
That's awesome, dude. Did you need different licenses to do from what you were doing in the banking world to what you're doing right now?
Yeah. So when I was in the banking, you don't need to have need to have license because you're under the the bank's license. So being on your own, you're required to have your I'm licensed here in Oregon. So, but you also need to have it. Even though you're licensed, you need to also be associated with a lending company. So basically, they kind of hold your license. Yeah.
So okay. So you're under their umbrella, technically.
Yeah. Yes.
Dang. So is this what you expected from getting into the business?
No, yeah, definitely what I expected. I actually, how would I say it? It's what I expected. I've been so blessed to be, already helping my clients and, doing more than what I expected to be because, when you come in and you have certain type of goals. So now that I've done those type of goals that I put my aside. Now I'm thinking about how I can help more clients. Put them in more homes to help them. So, it definitely having that trust of my community is definitely paid off a lot from rapport that I built in the past years.
So, how do people find you?
So honestly, I've been a lot of giving social media. Been putting myself on Facebook, Instagram. A little bit of everything, kind of giving shout outs, letting people what I could do and what service I offer. Doing phone calls to realtors, how I can assist them.
Yeah, because I've seen it's like 9 p.m., 10 p.m., and then this guy's over here posting that he's like working on like approvals, like like 9, 10 p.m. I'm like, dude, this guy's always working.
No, yeah,
That's good.
It kind of feels like it, but you kind of learn how to in early in the mornings, I do a lot of networking. So I go to events, meet new people, new realtor. Kind of look at plans. What programs are they? What you can fit in each client's. How you can work together to put more families in homes. Because we accomplish their dreams. So we do a lot of that in the mornings. A lot of people majority are working during the morning time. So there's that later appointments, and so that's probably where you see the post when because a lot of the Hispanic community, they're working from 9 to 5 or from 6 in the morning till like really long hours till like 7. So arranging times that work for them. Sometimes it allows me to do things during my kids during the midday, and then I'm able to set extra time to work in that afternoon. So that kind of helps out. So it just kind of depends how you do your schedule.
That's a tough schedule, dude. What's your wife think about your new schedule?
Awesome, man. She's actually one of the biggest supporting. One of the reasons I'm doing it now. She's been there for me. Every year I kept pushing. I'm gonna do it next year, get my license. So that next year never came, right? And so one of the things that my wife pointed out, which was like she put me kind of like put that thought, like, you know what, she's right, because she was like, well, you're not doing it right, so but you're not doing it already. You're already failing. I was like, man, I never thought about that way, right? Mm-hmm. So supporting me, through the whole process, because I was going from being so comfortable and now being outside of basically my bubble, not being comfortable at all. So knowing that she was there to support me, that kind of gave me more, guts to like do it. So I jumped over and started doing it. So, and next thing you know, I'm over here doing the lending part.
How long you been doing that again? The lending?
So as a loan officer,
yeah.
I started July.
Oh, okay, yeah. So when we started seeing you on social media,
yeah,
right, yeah,
that's when,
okay. I wasn't sure if you were doing it before.
No, yeah. Well, yeah. I started as I was working with the bank. I started back in May. So from May till I started doing my licensing training, because it takes about a couple months to kind of do some studying, and then June I took my exam. So it took me about 2 months or so, or probably a little bit more. Just kind of kind of prepping a little before it, and then June I took my exam and went ahead and got it. And I started looking at my options, and that's when I found, due to a great friend of mine, he recommended me over to American Dream Mortgage, which I'm thankful for him. His name is Baltasar Molina, so he's a great realtor. So he's been a great mentor coming into the game.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Already working with agents that can recommend people to you and stuff already.
No, yeah, it helped me a lot. My buddy, he's an insurance agent, so he's been in the game for a while. So he kind of gave me tips and things I could take to is gonna help me out. Obviously, what he does is a little bit different, but I'm being in the lending. But overall, the customer experience, the way you help clients, it's kind of similar. Obviously what you do is a little bit different, but the customer service, how to run your business, kind of similar. So he kind of gave me those pointers, so I knew what to expect coming in the game.
So, how long is it? You said how long it'd been since you kind of started the process, but how long has it been since you left Wells Fargo and you've been at this for like full time?
Okay, so from I left Wells Fargo, I actually left June, the last week of June, that was my last day, because being a loan, being licensed or held in an NMLS number, I can't associate it with two banks, so you can't be a double officer basically. So as soon as they knew, I had to let them know, and Wells Fargo automatically, it was like, okay, thank you for your services, we'll pay you out. Left in good terms. I knew that was going to happen because just what I seen how that rolls out, which makes sense. So as soon as I let them know, hey, I could start now. So, I tried to put my your 2 weeks to kind of leave in that type of term, but you're not able to do that in that scenario, because basically, you can't work with two banks at the same time because it's conflict.
Conflict of interest. Yeah. How many deals have you closed since then?
Oh man, so 3, and I'm looking to do 2 more this month, so they're on the works. I have quite a bit of pre-approvals out there, so those are always exciting, right? But what gets me excited is like learning like the history, like the story, and clients, what their goal is. Are they wanting to get their homes or coming from Mexico, or other clients that they're not coming from Mexico? They're they've been here their whole life, but they haven't got an opportunity to know the process of getting a loan. And so knowing their history and story, and putting a puzzle together and letting them know what we need to get them taken care of. Just taking that time and helping them. Giving if we're not able to giving that homework to them, and they feel really excited that we're able to get them to point A to point B. So, and then once you help them get that home, it feels amazing. I had a client that came from I want to say it was Chile. So he came from Chile about 8 years ago, and recently that I closed. So that client came from Chile 8 years ago, and recently he brought his family, and I was able to purchase his home from not knowing, even English coming to this country. So just by, for myself, picking up the phone, guiding how I can help them, providing the options, looking at their other scenario and placing them in opportunities for a home that we offer, that we can get them in, because there's a lot of programs and different guidelines. So let them know, hey, this is the guidelines for this program, how we can assist you. And then he's him being up for it, allowing you to have that trust, and giving you that trust, it means a lot, because you're dealing with their finances. So having that trust means a lot. And then now you're able to complete the process of giving them their home. It feels amazing, him giving me the thank you. For other people, it might sound like, oh, you close a loan, but it's not just a loan. You change that person's life, their family, maybe having grandkids in the future is going to create memories now, So that feels amazing that I was able to do that for that family. So that's the most important thing I feel about being a loan officer.
That must be a really good feeling. How many programs do you think there are out there that you kind of have to know about?
Gosh, man, there's a lot. Somebody to tell you they know every program back of the head, I would think they're lying, because there's a lot of changes that happen every year. There's the traditional, there's the non-qualified mortgages, that there's different scenarios. There's, statement loans that you can get just by looking at your statements. There's I-10 loans. There's just a whole number. I would have to go down the list and and I probably wouldn't be able to name them all.
You think there's more than 10?
Yeah, definitely more than 10.
More than 15?
Probably, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of options.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's options, how you can, for example, USDA rural programs, the I-10. There's one that's coming out pretty soon that is going to be helping a lot of I-10 borrowers, which is going to be great. We don't know exactly the guidelines, and I don't want to shoot them out, but I definitely will post them on social media when that comes out, because it's going to help clients just come with a very minimal, a down payment versus coming with a 10%. I can tell you that, but once I have those information, I'll shoot them out, because I wouldn't want to mislead anybody.
Exactly.
That sounds like it's gonna be big, no?
Yeah, sounds big.
Because right now there's not very many programs for just I-10.
So the thing with I-10s, they would. It's really hard because it requires a big down payment. It could be as minimum as 10%. It can go high as 35%, and possibly more depending on each bank. A lot of trouble that we go through those is that clients sometimes with the I-10, they use them for their taxes, for example, but they don't use them for their employer. That's when it gets tricky. Some banks will do them, but with the high down payment, which is sometimes 30% is really high. It's high for me.
That's high.
Depending on the dollar amount.
Well,
too.
do people are complaining about 6% right now?
And that's just down payment, and then the rates, and all I could tell you is that we don't know the case, how we can help them unless we sit down and kind of check, do a stop poll, get their income, and then go from there. Because if we're not able to assist them then at the moment, at least we can take a look where we're at, and then give some homework to get them where they want to be. Because who knows? There have been a lot of cases that they already are they're already qualified. Because we can go as low as 580. That's the score. So it just depends. There's a lot of scenarios. There's little things we can kind of play around to make those guidelines work.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, what's the funnest part about your job?
Honestly, just meeting with clients. Meeting clients, networking. I enjoy networking. Creating. Putting kind of ideas together. It kind of feels like it doesn't feel like you're putting a puzzle together, but you're putting ideas how you can kind of help our community here, or pertaining scenarios or problems they must have running through different type of programs. Kind of sharing what we did different and how can help them or better understand that program.
Do you guys do a lot of events? I saw you at the event, the volcano or around that area.
Yeah, so I was invited. One of the realtors, his name is Daniel, and so I'm having the opportunity to help his clients as well. Which are my clients as well. So he's a cool guy. He invited me over to help with the event. So I felt really blessed to be able to help and be there. It was they were part of a church event.
Oh, okay, I see.
It was kind of a church event. It was nice. Got to meet new people. Great conversations we had, and been able to help a few clients, and then they're currently looking to buy a home at the moment. So it's awesome opportunities. And you just kind of discover different people that you must have probably run down the street. You never talked, but getting to know those people is really cool because you notice you think alike.
Yeah. Nice.
The only thing I have is people that are looking to buy a home, and if you feel like you don't know if you're ready, sit down with a loan officer, whether it's myself or anybody that you know, and just kind of learn what you need and kind of run the scenarios, because doing the soft pull, it won't impact much of your credit, but it gives an idea where you can be to work on things.
Yeah.
Because if you're able to buy it now, it's better to buy now. I know the rates been kind of high. We're hoping to them go down, but obviously when those rates go down, people are going to be buying, and what happens when they buy? The houses go up, and so really, if we're waiting for that rate to come down to save some money, realistically, you need to be paying more, because you're going to be paying a higher loan, whether it's $20,000 more or if it, 25, whatever that case would be.
So you said social media has been one of the biggest things that has helped you in your business now?
Been helping me, yeah, just by people knowing that I'm out there. So it's been helping a lot. Also, me networking, going to those chamber, the greeters, the selling greeters. That's been helping me a lot. Going even to the Pan Dulce, meeting with a lot of realtors, people connecting with people that have the same visions. Kind of talking about their pointers that have been in the game, so gaining their ideas. Kind of like a mentor point. And so, even though I don't do things exactly like theirs, I, gather things from, what they think, how they're doing things, and kind of apply it into my own game. So that's been helping to me. One of the other things is picking my phone late nights, just as a courtesy, being consistent. Just by, letting people know, hey, I got your paperwork, I got your phone call, your text message, I'm working on it, So let them out there, feel that trust. Like they don't think that just because you send them a link to them, for them to apply, they don't think that nobody's looking at it. Like, acknowledging that, you got it and you're working on it. So, just picking up the phone says, I've thought about when coming in, since coming into the game, like something's going to stand aside from me from a different lender, like, being available for my clients.
I think that's very important.
Yeah.
Being available, answering text, answering promptly. I probably couldn't be a mortgage broker, dude, because I always forget to text back.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think just the will. I mean, if that's something you want to do, for example, like if you're gonna put 100% of the effort, it's like the podcast, right?
You have to.
You probably 5 years ago, like I can't see myself running a podcast, so, because everything, the detail that goes to like the technology and everything. But once you put everything together, like this is what I want to do. You're getting pointers, you're writing things down, and like, okay, this is what I'm prepared. Now I got it, and I'm gonna start doing it. Same thing.
This guy's gonna roast me right now. I can already feel it coming.
No, I'm not gonna roast him. No, I just thought it was funny though.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say if I were to reply to you on the Instagram message, you wouldn't have replied.
Well, no, it's because when we started back in like November, December. We started getting a lot more focused on, because it took a couple months to get like everything up and running, like everything set up and everything. So we didn't start like social media really till like January, the beginning of the year. And I was like on Instagram all the time, dude. I was like liking people's stuff and commenting and whatnot.
Es que se le olvida.
And
Like text.
no, I was doing it. I was doing it consistently, dude. But then it was just getting a little out of hand. Like, dude, every couple minutes I'd be pulling out my phone and like just being on Instagram. Yeah. And then it got to the point where I was just like, it was more like me having fun on Instagram than it being like business related. And then at that point I was like, dude, I need to take a break from Instagram. So I haven't been really on Instagram for like the last like 2 weeks. He's been the one that's been doing everything on Instagram, on social media for like the last couple weeks.
It's hard to be on top of it and everything.
It is, because when you go hard on it, and then,
dude, but when you're inviting Mario, dude, you gotta be on top of it.
I'm just
messing with it.
No,
I'm not.
No, I was joking.
Don't worry, coming in the game is funny, because I feel like, when I was trying to get my social media together, Facebook is like, I run Facebook, that's no problem. I run Instagram, oh, no problem. Do the basic. I was doing the basic, right? But when it comes to like all these extra little things, like, oh man, like how to put like little things together. My teacher was my son. He's 12 years old. He was telling me how to use is it CapCut or CapCut or something like that?
Yeah.
How to put videos together. It's like, I was trying to figure out like little clips here and like trying to do everything manually. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, trying to put a video. He goes, that's not how you do it. So you download this app and it's like, oh, try to teach me how it works. So now I got to the groups how, I still call him like, hey, how do you do this? Can you help me how to upload it? It's like, oh yeah, I'll help you. But
That's
now I feel like
$10, Dad.
now I could help him. I feel like I could start it, but there's little things to make it better quality that he kind of puts a little magic into it and makes it great.
There's a lot to it, dude. Jorge had like 10 apps at once, and then he like slowly like filtering them out. Like, I don't really care for this one, I don't really care for that one, until like he finds like the perfect app that he feels more comfortable with, that allows him to do more things in it.
That's crazy.
But you said most of them are pretty similar, no?
They're all similar. Sometimes they have their ¿cómo se dice? Proprietary like things. Like for example, CapCut. If you try to add music, it doesn't have the mainstream music. It just has music that you probably never heard of.
Probably, yeah.
Right? Then you use a different app. They have probably all the mainstream music, but they don't have certain features that CapCut has.
Okay.
It's just a few tweaks here and there, and then but it's really all similar, to be honest. It's really, at the end of the day, it's what do you like? What's more comfortable to you? That's it. That's what it comes down to, because they're all good.
That's crazy. At first, I gotta get more familiar with CapCut because I feel like there's a lot. Man,
No, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I literally just went through all of them, but you narrow it down, and yeah.
I tried doing like TikTok, but I can't get into it. It seems like too many people dancing around doing crazy little videos for me.
Dude, he's the TikTok master,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh man.
Nah, this is
He's on TikTok all the time, dude.
It's gonna be it's already.
It
popping,
already
right?
is. Instagram is already considered the new, I guess, Facebook, or the new Facebook, because it's kind of like it's done. I mean, TikTok, all these big people are on TikTok. A lot of companies are on TikTok. Some companies that cannot make it on Instagram go to TikTok and then blow up on TikTok. So it's like it's already there.
Okay.
So, but it just depends how you want to do your stuff.
What
You
else?
want to be dancing loan
Nah,
officer.
right? Nah. First of all, I don't know how to dance. I've been doing that as
Mario the loan officer.
Mario, the
Making
dancer,
moves,
loan
man.
officer.
Oh man,
The bachata dancer.
I don't know about that, man. But
Yeah.
I heard Snapchat's coming up too. No, like doing certain things. Like
I don't know. I don't really haven't used Snapchat
businesses?
for a while.
Yeah, so I use it for like just random personal videos. But I heard people like my wife. She's into watching like YouTubers and stuff like that. And I guess like they're like using it. So
I think it's been the same, but I think what Snapchat changed was like their pay structure. So they're paying more, so more influencers are getting into Snapchat.
Okay.
So I think that's why there's like a lot more and better content now, because more people are focused on like making money on Snapchat. I think that's what it is.
Gotcha.
But they've changed it a little bit over the last couple of years, and I think for a while now, people are posting a lot more. It's more, they're trying to make it more, like before it was more of like people could just view your story and you can talk to one specific person. Now it seems like you can watch like almost videos and like like clips and like 30-second clips, but like the story is all in one. Like you can have like a 5-minute video cut into like a lot of like either 30 or 45-second clips, but they just go right on after each other.
Not to bore people for 5 minutes, just they can
I
capture the
guess.
best memories or something.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
So I tell this guy, I'm like, you got to be on TikTok. Like, if you want to be like on social media, go on TikTok and see what everything is about, right? So all these apps like Snapchat, Instagram, todos demás, they've been in the same place for a while now. TikTok is the one that's been up there. And so that's why they want to take it down. All these, la gente está perdiendo dinero, because what happened to MySpace?
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone went to Facebook. That shit went down. So what they're trying to prevent is from TikTok to, I mean, it's because they're
different way.
Yeah, I
I
wanna
think
be
it's different, dude. I'm pro taking down TikTok, dude.
Nah, I'm
What
not.
do you think about that?
I don't know, man. It's a lot of, I heard that, I don't know. I just don't get it, like why they're trying to get rid of it, like.
Well, the thing is that TikTok is owned by China, by a company in China, but most companies in China that are big are owned by the government in somehow. Either they own a small piece or they're involved in some way or shape or form. But the thing is that in their terms and conditions, no one reads through their terms and conditions. But when people were downloading TikTok, they had full access to your phone.
Oh, God.
So I don't know if you know, but in all military bases, no military personnel is allowed to have TikTok on their phone. No military personnel. And the thing is that they don't only have access to like when you're on the app itself, but they can see they have the right to be able to look through like documents that you have on your phone, through your emails, through everything. And just because you have the app downloaded, you give them permission to do all that.
But if you really look at it too, like the government has access to your everything.
so
if they really
Our
want to.
government.
Yeah.
So,
Our
but
government.
that doesn't matter. Like for me, it's like
No, it's for you and me. It doesn't matter if they have
So,
our information.
Everybody
has our information,
So-
right? But the thing is, they can have like, for example, if like for example, a high up like sergeant in the military, his son has TikTok, and his son for some reason like connects. They have the same Apple ID, or they connect his phone to the to his home computer. Then they have access to all of that. And they know specific people. They know specific people that they're targeting. They're not targeting people like us. Like, we don't matter.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. For me, it doesn't
No,
matter.
for us it doesn't matter.
That's what I'm
right?
saying.
But what matters is that it's still within. It's still
I
within our
think
country.
I think what they do is they put the seed in you because at the end of the day, the one that's losing money is Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. All the American companies are losing money.
It's
So
about the money.
so you got to follow
It
the
is.
money.
At the end of the day, that has a lot to do with it.
Anytime they do something, they have to put fear in people. And he's talking about the fear, right?
Sure.
And so what they do is they sell you on the idea. It might be true. I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. But Facebook, Instagram, all these companies have your info already.
Yeah.
You don't even know what type of info they have, what you agree on, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to take him down because they realize that their TikTok's AI is a lot more powerful than the other ones. People are so accustomed of doing like that dopamine, like 10 seconds, 30 seconds. Todos los demás están quedando atrás.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh shit, we gotta get them down, and we're gonna tell them because it's China, and we're gonna put that seed, and we're gonna pay the government, and all the Americans are gonna freak out, and then people are gonna be talking about it. Yeah.
They're trying to put little things that the reason why they're doing this, and eventually there's going to be some sort of negotiation. They're trying to create some sort of fear they are going to take it down, but at the end of the day, they want their cut, and once they get their cut, it's going to be fine. We worked something out. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think it's just BS, to be honest. They're putting that fear in everybody.
Think about how many things when we use social media, for example, like Snapchat. The other day, I turned it on. I was like, "Oh, there was an update. Do you agree? You got to hit OK." So I wonder what all goes on there. Like,
No one knows. No one reads that. No
So
one goes through that.
that's my point. That's
See,
like
but-
they're planting the seed for you to get like fear and have that tell your people and tell Americans, and then you're right, that's not good. And then now people want to take TikTok because
I don't agree with that, dude. I think that if that was the case, I think that one of the biggest companies in our country is Apple. I think that they would be trying to do the same thing towards Samsung because it's built in a different country. But the reason why is because right now we're in a very sensitive time with specifically China. Very, like, everything is very tense right now with China. So I feel like, I don't know.
Do you use Facebook? Do you use Facebook?
Yes.
You don't use. I don't really use Facebook too much.
I do use Facebook.
You've always said you don't use Facebook too much.
But the thing is,
So
I use
it's
Facebook.
dying. Does that make sense?
No,
It's dying.
I don't think so.
I don't
Look,
think so. Yes and no, because there's different generations in
Yes.
Facebook, and so you kind of need to adapt with all generation. For example, like my mom, she's really into Facebook.
Yes, yes.
And so those generations, I'm communicating there because trying to keep that alive. That I'm here to help them too with my services. Same thing, like I don't know. There's certain things that go on Facebook, like for example, like certain like little comments that you wouldn't do on Instagram, for example. The different shout outs and things you
It's
do.
different.
It's different vibes. So each platform has its own like type of vibes. What you do and you cannot do, because you got to separate those. That way, people are entertained of what you're doing.
But
I
let me
still-
ask you this: do you think the new generation likes Facebook?
No, that's what I was going to tell you.
So where do you think the money is going to lead? Do you think Facebook's going to be a MySpace and they're not going to make money in Instagram? Or do you think everyone's going to be TikTok because that's the
I
group
think
with
the
TikTok?
future, you're right, and that's what I'm trying to adapt.
So that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're trying to prevent that because they know that MySpace was on top of the world at one point, and out of nowhere they rushed it, and now no one cares about MySpace.
See what you're saying.
So what's happening is Facebook eventually is going to be the old MySpace.
I agree. I think
So
Facebook
that's what they're trying
slowly-
to. I think that's what they're trying to do.
I think Facebook slowly is getting a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller, just because I agree. I think that most people
So
that
who's
are
losing
Facebook
money?
So I feel
Mark
like
Zuckerberg
I feel like what you're saying is that Facebook and Instagram feel threatened of TikTok
Yes.
because they know that the way
and
they're
Snapchat,
trending
all the
and-
American companies,
Yeah.
they're done. They're done because every I don't know if correct me if I'm wrong, John, but they all have their specific AI and their algorithm, right? And they say TikTok's algorithm is more addicting, más como.
It is.
So
But let me ask you this.
The technology that they have, they don't have.
Let me ask you this though. Have you heard that the algorithm in the United States is different on TikTok than it is in China?
Yes.
What have you heard about that?
Okay, they see different things over there.
What kind of things do they see?
More educational stuff.
And why do we not?
But
get that?
that's the government here though. Why do you blame
No, that's
them?
not us. That's
Everybody-
TikTok.
everybody-
It's not the government.
Everybody
It's
knows
TikTok
that company
the
is
government
like
doesn't
that
tell
though.
them.
I
The
don't
government
even know.
doesn't tell
I
them.
heard they're restricted. What are the times they can use their social media?
are.
Or like online or stuff like that.
But everybody knows that they're like that with everything.
Jorge, the reason that they're pushing so hard on this is because the difference, like Alan said, the difference between the government and an institution is not very far, is non-existent in China. They own 51% of every company, unless there's a special exception made. And all that data for that information goes to the government. We've done the same thing for spycraft for years and years and years. You remember when Snowden showed?
I guess we're gonna go along with this.
This is a long rabbit
So,
hole. Yeah.
so yeah, we're
The big
gonna
debate.
with John. You're gonna go along.
We saw COVID coming from social media. Like everything was happening.
All I'm saying is that for me, like at the end of the day, what they say and they say, we don't know. It's money involved, big money, and I think they just don't want. They're looking at the future. That if they don't control this now, these American companies, social media companies, se van a ir para abajo.
The money's not as important as the
I think it is. I think it is.
Control,
Well, yeah, control. There you go.
You can map out
'Cause with control, they can
military
balance
facilities,
everything.
Figure out where the roads are.
Yeah.
And have access to any communications there. They were caught multiple times. Getting
All right, John, we're done. We're done.
Stop. Next
We're
topic.
done, John.
Next topic.
Yeah.
Next topic.
That's.
No, it's a whole different
That's
thing. I mean, it's interesting though, but you know,
I got my son, helping me. I was like, that's the new social media that I want to master, TikTok, because I feel like it is going to be the new I feel like the new generation.
it's been the new thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it has
I mean,
been.
yeah. I guess I'm saying the new generation because I'm adapting to it, so it's probably already been going on. It's probably popular, but for
I'm
that's
not
new,
adapting
that's
to
new
it
to
either.
me, and I don't know. I feel weird about it going in there and just seeing different. Like I don't know. Maybe I need to get more familiar with it.
It's uncomfortable, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of uncomfortable. It makes you get out of your comfort zone.
So you got to get familiar with it. So we have the podcast. You want to look around, but if you're only looking at one platform or you're not looking at the biggest platform, why are you not looking at it? And that's what I tell them. Look at TikTok, dude.
So-
you got to get familiar with it first. Got to kind of figure it out. Yeah.
So are you guys with doing your platform? I mean your podcast in TikTok or just Instagram?
Just Instagram for now and YouTube.
YouTube. Okay.
YouTube is the full video.
Gotcha.
So we will post it on YouTube. It's just all three cameras. He's messing. Well, he's supposed to be messing with the cameras right now.
The more I mess with, the more distraction.
There you go.
And then Instagram is just the clips.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so, are people doing podcasts in TikTok or the reason I'm asking is because you mentioned
there's a lot of them.
Oh, okay. So is it working for you more on Instagram and YouTube?
I think it would work more on TikTok, but I don't want to be jumping around. I want to make sure I could, be established at least decent in Instagram and then go to TikTok.
Gotcha.
And TikTok's a little different. You got to do a little different too.
Okay.
It's not the same, but I think TikTok might just blow up a little bit more.
You think it would be like convenient doing in multiple in this case, or is it?
You have to do. Everybody says that you have to do multiple platforms. But we don't have experience on it, and you don't want to jump around everywhere and not do anything, right? Al?
Yeah.
I've been really
We want to just do something first. Así como ahorita, I think right now would be kind of like the time. You're the first TikTok, dude.
I was gonna tell you
Hey, monetize right away. These guys believe in China conspiracies.
funny. I know we're talking about platforms stuff like that. Before coming, like hearing that you guys are doing this, I thought it was pretty cool. I've been looking at YouTube because my wife, really watching YouTubers and influencers. I love it because I'm not paying cable, so it's cool for me. But I've been watching the podcast La Plática, so you guys remind me a lot like them, and you guys pretty cool.
Is that the one you were watching?
No. Plática, no.
That sounds really familiar.
Yeah.
Is it in Spanish or English?
Spanish.
See,
yeah.
I tell them.
Oh
like,
no, it's not Spanish.
Spanglish?
It's kind of Spanish.
Yeah.
Like
There-
us,
That's
yeah.
what I tell them.
So you guys remind me, like, oh yeah, it's popping. And I like you guys' vibe. What you guys have is pretty cool. So it's kind of similar to them. So I like it, man. So I'm sure you guys are gonna be really good, man.
I hope so, man.
Yeah.
Hope so, yeah.
I hope so. Just like you do, we're trying to start with our community and kind of go from there.
Go from there, yeah. Got to start from our roots, and kind of show how we can help them. Who better than start with our community? Then from there, continue growing and helping. Don't forget where we come from.
I tell Alan, like, dude, let's do Spanish. Like, bro, I know Spanish.
No, you know what I realized? What I realized,
We're
bro?
not no Savo kids.
For real. This is what I realized. What I realized was Spanish is my first language, and I only speak Spanish to my parents. But then when I sit here and I speak Spanish with other people, I realized how bad my Spanish is.
I'm in the same boat. Yeah, glad
It's
you
'cause-
mentioned
And
it.
I thought that my Spanish was really good, dude. I really thought that my Spanish was like A1. And then I started talking like 100% Spanish. But the thing is, when like I talk with this guy or when I talk with you, we
Vibe.
speak Spanglish.
Yeah, Spanglish. Yeah.
And if I say like one word in Spanish, you know exactly what I'm
What I'm
talking
telling you,
about.
we can kind of like go back and forth.
We
yeah.
can go back and forth.
Yeah.
And I think you're just like that too.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Yeah.
And when we have someone that only speaks Spanish, and then you have that in your head, like I can only speak Spanish, then that kind of messes with me, and I think I overthink it or
your
something.
You
words
overthink
and
it because
kinda-
you don't. Professionally speaking, in your career, like there's some words you're probably not gonna know in Spanish, and that's the difference. Because when you speak with your peers, you're speaking Spanglish or you're speaking slang in Spanish.
It's funny you guys mentioned that because I worked for Wells Fargo for over 10 years. And before going into the business, I was like, oh no, that's no worries. I'm Spanish. That's no problem. But I didn't realize the Spanish I grew up. My parents, that's the Spanish I grew up like coming from a rancho.
Yeah,
like,
slang.
You say like
it's
me,
slang.
yeah.
And so, like just a simple thing like people were like, oh, you didn't know that? Like for example, el banco. I knew that banco was banco, like when you get your cash. Like where I worked at, but it's realistic as sucursal.
El sucursal,
Yeah. Or like business day, like the obvious.
See, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. So little things like, oh man, like I was saying it all wrong.
And that's what I tell them. I'm like, you only know the Hispanic community, la gente que viene del rancho or la gente que viene in a certain area, but you don't know el español de Mexico when it's spoken, the different way or, more proper way, por ejemplo. But I tell them all the time, like, dude, you don't realize that. I'm like, everyone's always coming here to live better. So it's like, normalmente la gente que viene de ciertas raíces.
True. Do you guys ever went to Mexico and like talk to your like relatives out there? So when you went there and then maybe you went with another cousin and you started like kind of going Spanglish and they look at you all weird, it's like, but what are you guys talking about? Like, and you guys have any memories of those? Like,
No, because every time I go, I will go like I essentially go by myself. So it's like I only speak Spanish. None of my cousins speak like English or a bit or nothing like that. So it's like 100% Spanish. But I think like what you were saying, and I think this is what he was telling me was like, cuando son de rancho, you speak that different Spanish, but we've met people where we have to speak traditional Spanish. And I think that's where we have a hard time with like the traditional,
the
proper Spanish. Then that's where I have a really hard time.
Because here in the U.S., you would consider English normal, or you would go to in the country and they would speak it different, and that's when you're like,
even English. If you
in
when
English.
I started back in the call center for the bank itself, I used to work in the early shift, right? 5:45 in the morning. So I'll take my first call. I used to like them because they get to the topic, boom, I'm done. Because it's a lot faster up in the East Coast.
Yeah.
So as people from New York, their accent and everything's a lot different. So and it makes it seem like they're speaking a different language in a way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It
So
is.
and you compare it with here, it's like more vibe, like like just little slangs. Like for example, here in Oregon, like when I'm talking with people, with my family member in California, just we're just like one state away. When we say pop, they laugh at me. They laugh at that slang because
Pop for soda?
For soda, yeah. So give me that pop of soda, like they start laughing at me because I'm calling soda a pop. So just little things like that. It's like,
Yeah.
So it's not just like I'm from Mexico, not just from there. When you speak with somebody from like Chile, Cuba, like all these extra countries, like they speak a little bit different. Like I feel like for example, like
Cubans, dude. Cubans.
they
Puerto
speak it like
Ricans,
past tense in a way.
All Spanish countries speak different.
They speak all different.
Tú puedes decir, for example, una uva, it could be 7 or 8 different ways how to say uva. And you're like, what the, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just different.
Yeah.
It's so different. Like, mucha gente dice pelo, cabello, greñas, like, what else? I'm sure there's like 10 more.
Yeah.
So the point is, when we have a only Spanish like podcast, I get really intimidated.
Yeah.
Because I feel like my Spanish isn't really good now, and I'm like, well, I used to think my Spanish was great, but
I mean, how do you feel when you did your first episode of your podcast?
It was bad.
it was no, but it was a different
no.
kind of bad though.
No, you talking about Spanish?
No, he's talking about
just
first
the same thing.
podcast.
I'm sure you were uncomfortable because you never.
No, I felt comfortable.
No, yeah, it was
wasn't.
good, yeah.
It was a different kind of uncomfortable.
Okay.
But like,
You know who our first one was? He was a realtor, ¿verdad?
oh yeah, Carlos Ronda.
Okay. I haven't personally met him. I've seen what he's done on social media. I feel like he's a really cool person as far as what I can see. I've been seeing what he's doing, been giving him a little kudos. So,
He-
I love that what he's doing.
He was our first one, but the setup we have now was a lot
Oh,
different.
it was way different. The
Different.
white wall,
White
nothing
wall.
was here.
John wasn't here. Like
Yeah, he was.
actually- I know, dude.
But the thing was, he made it a little bit easier because he was more like
He wanted to come talk, chill, and just say bullshit, like cool stuff, you know.
I'm
And
sorry,
that's it.
guys.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh no!
No, I'm just joking with you guys.
No. Yeah.
I'm joking with
When
you
he
guys.
was here, remember he's like, "All right, guys, what are we gonna talk about?"
no, but
Yeah.
he's like he's used to social media.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You are used to social media too,
Yeah.
even if it was before this.
behind the scenes.
You were dude. You post more on Facebook than me.
Yeah, but
Dude,
not
me
not
and
people
him-
not recording like.
No, not recording, not recording. But like,
But your personal, you post stuff?
Yeah, he posts
post
stuff.
stuff.
all
Oh
the
yeah,
time.
we don't
all the time.
Yeah,
dude.
me and don't.
My last picture I posted on
Sorry,
Instagram
I'm on
was from.
Facebook.
My bad. I don't use Facebook.
Dude,
As far as we do Facebook back in the day and like Instagram, I used to post little, back to school things like that, little simple little things, little likes here and there. But now I'm just showing people what I do, like how I'm helping my community. So that's what I'm doing. So that may sound like I'm doing a lot, but I haven't noticed. I haven't feel like I'm doing so much. But maybe being consistent, that's probably what it seems like.
I think you have to do that though.
Yeah.
You have to do that. They say that you're supposed to post multiple things a day. They're like, if you are running a business on this, like you have to post at least 3 times a day.
You know what's funny about it? Like I don't know how you guys are talking about Facebook is dying, but I don't see it dying. And the
I didn't say that. He said that.
And the
I
reason,
said
the
that.
reason I tell you this, for me, like clients, I
Yeah.
see more movement for me,
Pero-
like messaging. They prefer to message me, even though I have the number, like text messaging. They prefer to message me through Messenger or things like that, or like through Instagram messaging or.
But
whatever.
you have the Latino community in that. Todos los Latinos usan Facebook for marketplace for everything.
Yeah.
That's what they use.
Not as a lot of relationships that I had previously, the bank, not even Latinos, like businesses that I help, like American owners, or for example, Hispanics, a whole bunch of like diverse, clients. Like I help them out too in different ways, and it seems like it's a mix. I think it just depends what they feel more comfortable. Like if they're using Instagram, they're gonna message me through Instagram. That's what I've seen. Or if they do use a lot of Facebook, they message me even just by a quick question, and then I message them through my text message. It might take a day or 2 or 3, but then if I do it through like because when reply back to their messenger, even though I got their phone number, they reply within like instant because they're on the social media.
Let me go
He
back.
doesn't ignore
yeah,
it.
yeah, you're right. I mean, it will die because all the younger people no lo usan.
No lo usan.
It's a certain age, but use it a lot still. I'm talking about that they're looking at the future. That's all I'm saying.
No, I know, and I get you. And I think I know what you're talking about. Even little things like my son was telling me, like, oh, my wife and my son, you need to work on your handles. Like, what? I was like, what is that? They were telling me like all the things about social, like how to find you. I was like,
Yeah.
okay. So those were handles. Like, okay.
Damn.
I didn't know. I was that
Yeah,
lost in
I
the social media game.
I don't even know.
Yeah. So
You guys learning those things.
yeah.
Yeah, we say that.
Dude, TikTok. His daughter's teaching him TikTok.
There you go. Yeah, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
Imagine them, like, funny story, technology. I have a 4-year-old, right? So he started watching a lot of YouTube. YouTube, sometimes you get little pop things pop up, and they get a little scared because, some things come out. So me and my wife blocked it, right? Because we couldn't figure out how to restrict everything. So we blocked it. And
Block Facebook?
I mean, like
YouTube?
YouTube, like the app itself.
The whole
we,
app,
We took it out.
YouTube. Oh.
You know what he did?
He
started going
re-downloaded
to Google search, and he hit all the letters until he got to the Y, and then he brings the little symbol of YouTube. And then that's how he was going to. Like, how does he get to it? And I started watching him. So he types all the letters. Nope, erase it. Types all the until he gets to the Y. Then he sees the symbol and then clicks on it and goes to YouTube.
Damn.
It was like, oh man. So now we have to kind of really look at, and make sure that if something comes up, like take it away, because always, there's things that pop up and he might be scared at night. Sleep in his room, like,
Tell them to follow us.
oh man, I'll let him know.
That's crazy, dude.
That's crazy. Yeah, it is.
Kids
yeah.
are so smart, dude.
No, yeah, all right.
Well, because they're growing up with it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, it's
But I mean, realistically, yes and no. Because if you think about, I mean, that's smart that they're adapting really fast. Because compare how we're adapting. But social media, like everything updates. Like when we're able to find things you can't find in a year from now. So as that updates, they're being exposed to the same time. So we're all learning. So when there's something that, for example, TikTok, right, is booming, right? I'm assuming they have updates, right? How to do certain things. So when they do those updates, you have to learn those updates too. So is that, so are they?
So I've
guess-
had it for a while and I haven't seen updates for
No?
that, which is
Okay.
kind of weird. Now that you mention it, I've never seen an update.
No, Like,
Yeah.
what about like, for example, like, Snapchat, for example, a year or two from now, how they look used to be different. So you had to play around with it. So maybe same things like Windows, when you get on your computer, you get updates. It changes. Like you have to relearn.
CapCut did have an update, and that shit threw me off for sure.
And you hate
big
it. It's like, why did they
time.
update that for?
That threw me off, and I could not figure it out. But now that you mention it, dude, I've never seen an update for TikTok, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, they're spying on us, dude. You're right.
You're right.
You're right.
They want to see how you're doing it.
Yeah.
I told you.
Man.
I told you, dude.
So I mean, realistically, I mean, you're not doing it, but he's doing TikTok, so they're probably getting into your device.
Well, I have TikTok on my phone.
He does.
I have
See?
TikTok.
So you,
They were-
yeah, I was like,
Well, what did I tell you? I'm
Use
not
it, use
government.
it.
I have nothing to hide. They
There
can
you
see.
go.
They
Yeah.
have nothing to hide. But it's really hard for me to like. You know what I think it is too? I don't think I use it enough because you know how like Instagram, you can go through your feed and you'll see things that you're interested in.
okay.
TikTok is not like that for me. So I think it's just because I don't use it enough. So that when I do go on it, it gives me things that I'm not really interested in. So I think that has a lot to do with it too. And then this guy, since he's on Instagram TikTok 24/7, this guy sees everything he likes. So it's like obviously he's gonna be like glued to his phone.
Which is fun, yeah. Man, for me, it's gonna take a while for even Instagram. For me, it seems like I like Facebook. It's so friendly. It's probably from the way I grew up with it. So Instagram for me, like, I have to go really slow because I might do something I can't fix, or I don't know, it might ruin it. I don't know if you guys noticed when I was coming here, I didn't realize I put a thumbs up on the address because I was trying to copy and paste it or something.
Oh, yeah.
I like, they're probably gonna think what I'm doing. But yeah.
Yeah, I saw it, dude. Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Off topic. We talked about conspiracies. We talked about what do you call it? Superstitiousness.
Superstitious, yeah.
Do you believe in aliens?
I think so. I think we're silly if we think we're the only ones that exist.
Damn, that wasn't even an argument. Right?
Yeah, right away.
If you exist, why wouldn't anything
Yeah.
else exist? We'd be silly. Like we haven't even discovered 90% of the ocean, and we think the aliens don't exist.
And that's here.
Here, yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, dude, I've always believed in this shit, dude. I love that this shit, dude. You know.
Yeah.
And on social media and things, they can't hide things now, and they're saying that they've seen UFOs. I mean, or now they're trying to be more like, oh, we saw something suspicious.
In Peru,
So
no?
yeah,
Or something like that.
it's
Brazil.
We're like now they're being more open about it because they can't hide it with social media and everything. It's hard to keep things on the down low.
Yeah.
What haven't we gotten? I mean, I don't know. I haven't keep up too much about outer space, but back in the day, you used to hear more about going to the moon or things like that. But now they're saying that there's not enough funding.
And could they, según that they destroyed all the stuff when they went to the moon, they came back, they destroyed the technology.
Yeah, right. I think
That's what they say.
found something or something was.
I don't know.
Who
It's
knows?
trippy, but my question's always been, why can't we go to Area 51? What is it, 151 or 51?
Area
51.
51.
Yeah, 51.
Area
Area
51?
51, I think.
Like, that's just really, like, isn't that the place where...
Well, dude, they're not going to let you go in there. That's like secret stuff, dude.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying, though. Like, that's kind of where a lot of the weird stuff was happening, no? Back in the days in ancient times or whatever. Because it's in the
Probably
desert,
doing
no?
experiments. I'm assuming they probably do experiments. That's why they do all the experiments or stuff like
Yeah.
that.
I'm sure they do all of that, too.
But-
That's also where the highest technology for the U.S.
Yeah.
military is being developed. So you don't really want
I don't know, dude. It's weird. Have you heard of like the last couple months of like how they're saying like the military saying that yes, that aliens do exist,
Does exist,
and
yeah.
then they've showed like allegedly videos and stuff. Have you seen those?
I haven't seen it, but I've seen like rumors about like the government is supposedly like not denying it, but then not saying that, like not denying it, but they're like, oh, there's something suspicious. They
Well,
say.
now they're saying that it is
Oh
true.
shoot, man, I haven't seen it.
Now they're saying that it is true. This happened probably within like the last month and a half. But I don't know. You look at the video and it looks kind of weird.
Is that
and
when the airplane was going, or maybe, and they saw some sort of like?
So that's the thing. So they're saying that like China or Russia has the capability of having technology like that, and they say that we do too, but that we wouldn't say yes, we have that kind of technology because then everybody would know, right? So it's like they have to be really careful about what they say. If they admit it, then they're saying that other countries have better technology than us. And then if they say we have it too, then they're letting other people know we have that kind of high technology too. So it's like it's kind of tough on how they can tell us, I guess. I don't know.
Gotcha. That's weird. I mean, I think the world's so big and the outer space so big. I feel like we're like inside a bubble, like the Earth is in one little bubble. You got a space, and that's another like Earth looking thing, and then you have a bigger bubble that's who knows what else is out there.
Yeah, I think it's hard. I think it's really hard. I think I think for generations, you could be told something and you don't know if it's true because realistically speaking, you're never going to walk across the world. You're never going to drive. You cannot drive across the world. You could fly, but you don't really know where you're going. Like, realistically speaking, I'm sure since mankind existed, you can't do it too long. You're not going to know. ¿Me entiendes? So if it tell you, oh yeah, this is there, you're not physically going to be able to go.
It's like with not having technology back in the day and those pyramids, how they're made, like handmade.
That's crazy. I just watched a
Were they
documentary
huge
like
people,
that on
or how does
Netflix.
it work? Because imagine, like being our type of, like our size. Even my size, I feel like I'm big, and there's other people who are bigger. Like to be able to move those rocks and do it so perfectly and lined up around the whole world.
It's tough.
It's tough. It had to be people that had a different type of manpower that we don't have.
Do you think that aliens are smarter than us?
I wouldn't say smarter. I feel like everybody has, everybody has their mentality of, like, we could be creative, because we developed so much that we were meant to be living, all outdoors, and look how we discovered how to make houses, to make it to the moon, do all these crazy things. So I think like we're really capable of doing big things if we work together. Aliens probably, they have their strong pointers that they can do certain things that they possibly can't. But I feel like there may be other tribes of aliens that might be, who knows, more intelligent or have different type of powers than we don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like we probably assume that animals are like, that we're, because we could do things that they can't do, but realistically they have other things they could do better than we can't. Like they could be on the water. So for example, like the whales, they can be on the water and do certain crazy things that we can't. We'd never make it in the water. Like, like it just, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
How to explain that?
Those chameleons can change colors.
Yeah.
Shit like that. Like, I know what you mean,
Yeah.
but it's everyone has their own unique thing.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Huh?
This is out of storage.
It's fine because we're doing on that.
Heads up.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the word I was using. Yeah.
Yeah,
everybody-
everyone's unique. I mean, I just feel like it. I don't know. I think it's, even if there was, I think it just takes, how they say, light years. Light years.
Mhm.
It's so many years. Like, I don't think we're ever gonna be able to like see any of that. Like, it's just gonna be so hard, if there is, for them to visit us.
And we go into another bubble too. Like, if they have all those crazy powers too, like, because I'm a crazy believer. Like, I was, raised Catholic, and I believe a lot of things my parents, taught me. But sometimes I start wondering, like, is there really one God? Like, are there multiple gods if there's other universe?
That's crazy.
You go to a different type of mentality. It's never ending.
It is never ending, and I was just watching this documentary on Netflix about like the pyramids and stuff and how they were built, and like all these things that they found, like the big rocks that they found in like Peru and things like that. And then they started talking about religion and stuff too, and they were saying that like most of the gods that people pray to here in this world, most of them have a very, very similar story. Like, so most people, Catholics, Christians, and we all pray to a very similar thing, and we all believe that God came to us in a really similar way, but it's just different stories.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy. It's that's another rabbit hole too.
It is crazy. There's so many, which is interesting.
It's very interesting.
They're all interesting. I think a lot of them have different points, good points, some points. Over time, people are going to keep telling their story, rewriting their story, and then you're not going to know. At the end of the day, it's just, I find it more for entertainment purposes, to be honest.
Yeah.
All of that, I think it's just kind of interesting, unique. You come with your own conclusions. You have your own thoughts.
Doesn't make it wrong or right. Just
Yeah,
doesn't make it wrong.
yeah. It just, for me, it's just more. It's like entertainment.
Entertaining.
Yeah,
So
and it's cool.
So what's your
Your theory about
your theory about the pyramids and how they built the pyramids?
I don't think I've really had it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I did. So I did. I've always seen a bunch of shit, right? And so I was like, and now for the last year, now they say it more. The world resets every so many years, right? So like all these technology that they had, for example, right now I feel like we cannot see. Well, we could see more. I feel like maybe another 50 years or 100 years of technology, and boom, resets, and then everything that we build se queda. new generation starts otra vez.
Starts over.
It starts over. Like all this technology that they
So
had,
do you
I
think
feel
it's like a natural disaster that just wipes it all down, or what do you think?
Before I saw this,
Yeah.
I've always had that conclusion in my head. Like, I'm like, why? What if everything that we see and we always like break our brains for this, like, oh, what, technology-wise or no sé qué tanto, pyramids, Mexico, todos estos. What if it was already built by advanced civilizations, like really, advanced technology, but we keep thinking that it's not because we don't know that we think that it's 1,000 years old and we think that there was no technology. Why do we think there was no technology back then?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, maybe they got wiped out. So I've had those theories before.
So yeah, go ahead.
It's kind of like that movie. I forgot what they have the spaceship like a sort of like a pyramid. I forgot what their name. Is it what's came out that long ago? The Internals.
I don't
I
know.
haven't watched
the Marvel one.
Oh yeah.
So it got me like how things get wiped out. Not like 100% exactly, but how things can get wiped out. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So like I had that always that thought. Now for the last year, now you see it more often. Now someone came out, like you can see interviews about people saying, "Oh, what about if it resets?" Now I'm like, okay, I was thinking the same way, but I came across something else that said, for example, we have the medicine, we have the technology, tenemos todo. We have doctors, we have builders, we have people know how to build stuff. We have people that know how to drive cars, how to build cars, mechanics, every profession that you could think of, right?
Yeah.
But, and you know about that. You're aware of that, right?
Yeah.
You're aware of that. John's aware of that. Me aware. Let's say 10 other people or 50 other people. We all know this. Let's say Earth gets wiped. Paz. No one survives but 50 of us. Are you a doctor? You're not.
I'm not, no.
Is he a doctor? He's not.
No.
Is John a mechanic? He's not. He has the general knowledge. Are you a mechanic? No, but he's got the general knowledge of kind of a car.
But a mechanic doesn't have the knowledge to make the parts for a car. So it's like how.
That's my
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
That's my
How
point.
good is he gonna be if he doesn't know how to create the motor?
That's my point.
He knows how to put it together.
But that's my point. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
So every profession, it exists. You've seen people, medicine, you've seen this, you've seen athletes, but you don't know how to do it. The mechanic doesn't know how to do that. He doesn't know how to cure someone. So now you're back in the Stone Age. ¿Cómo vas a hacer todo eso? So now you have, back then, we used to have doctors. Back then, we used to have people that did this. Back then, we used to have flying planes. But how do you do that?
So you got to go back to the drawing board.
So then you used to go back. So now evolution
So
empiezas
they
otra
turn into
vez.
cavemen.
No.
Well, he's saying that once the knowledge of how to do something is lost, it changes into fable and myth.
Yeah,
It's
it
myths.
does. It does.
It's
It
like
does.
when you're typing something, you forget to save it.
Yeah.
What do? You got to start rewriting it again.
Rewriting it again.
Yeah.
And so now everybody starts doing it. And then you think about it.
But no, I agree. No, I
Deja vu or whatever. Like,
No,
did I do
no.
this?
Then you just start thinking about it. Like, what if it's like that? Because honestly, they keep saying that all these pyramids and all these rocks are cut laser like precision with the stars and all this shit. I'm like, how do they know? Why do they keep saying that back then they had no technology or they were dumb? Like, why did they keep making it seem like que no sabían nada?
Or were we just the ones that were the second generation from them, and
Yeah.
they probably had a higher technology, and we probably haven't just got to their level yet?
Because you leave a car out here for 5 years, y ya se está haciendo todo feo.
Yeah.
Leave it for 100 years,
it rust after.
se va a
70 years.
tapar todo. Leave a house out in the country. No one has visited for 50 years or 20 years. Ya está toda fea. Ya no se la puedes ver. Se está
I see what you're
cayendo.
saying, yeah.
So over time, only the things that are gonna last is gonna be the things that are made out of stone or like the well built stuff, right?
Nothing gets built,
Todos
well
los-
built now with trying to go cheap these days.
Todos los edificios, they're gonna probably se van a caer and they're gonna become mountains, and over time of thousands of years, el edificio aquí está y la montaña está acá. You don't know that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that
You're
makes
not
sense,
gonna
yeah.
know none of this. Me and you are physically not gonna go dig under a mountain, and even if we did, it's impossible to get all the way to the bottom. Physically, we're not gonna do that. So you could come up with any conspiracy, you could come up with any lie or anything, and you could come up with your own conclusions because we don't know. Does that make sense?
No, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense, because I see what you're saying. Like, how do we know it didn't reset? They were more developed than we are at the moment.
They say that the Amazon river or that area, they said there was a whole civilization in that. That actually all these trees, que no sé qué es de todos los crops que ellos hacían.
Yeah.
The only place that you see sand is in what do you call it, in the ocean, right? In the
Beaches.
sand,
Mhm.
in the beaches. But then what about the Sahara Desert? Todo ese sand, todo eso, y no hay agua. Does that make sense? Why is it only where you see water? Was that a big ocean before? Ya está seca or what? So there's a lot of things that you got to consider, which is
So you're saying
interesting.
they just got dried out, or what happened? Yeah,
Yeah,
got covered. Everything, all things got covered up, and
yeah. It's interesting. I mean, I find it interesting. I don't think we're ever gonna know. I don't think no one really knows.
There's no way to prove it.
Yeah,
No,
there's
prove it.
no way anything. You could have your conspiracies and stuff or your own thing, but it's all interesting to be honest.
What's your conspiracy on how the pyramids were built?
I don't know, man. It's hard. I feel like I could go back and thinking people were probably like, because the oxygen has changed in the earth supposedly. So, like, just animals were bigger. Like I'm assuming there were humans bigger than we are.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
they were able to, kind of like when you're making a blocks, they were able to play around with them and make them that way. I don't know.
You think that's how? You think we were
That's
just so
my
big?
theory. Yeah,
We were bigger than
they were bigger. That's my mentality. But
Yeah.
Vikings
that's,
were bigger.
But they're saying like giants though.
Yeah,
They're
giants,
saying,
yeah.
because they say a lot of the churches, a lot
there
of
were-
these doors are huge.
I believe there was, possibly giants, and there was people like us, and there were possibly, the slaves, or who knows, people that, I don't know, they had their different type of like tribes.
Because realistically, you're not gonna know anything in the past. You don't know anything that happened in every year since before you were born. All you know is you grew up and you hear information about this happening and this, but you don't know. And what happens in society or with people, we forget.
Yeah.
That's it. It happens to everybody. A week ago something was happening over here. It's exciting news, whatever. Then you forget because you're living your life. You're living your life, and you're just forgetting everything. And that's what they say. People have a short-term memory. Like it doesn't matter. Like it's not the moment.
You know what I
So-
find crazy? I find crazy that I think we're probably gonna be we're either like the second, maybe first generation of humans that I feel like our future family is not gonna forget us. I don't think like me personally, I know my parents and I know my grandparents, but I don't really know anything past that. There's really no pictures. There's really you don't really know about them. You don't really talk about them. But now with social media and Facebook and Instagram and all of this, I think this is gonna be we're either gonna be the first or second generation that you can go back and you can see your family's pictures and stuff, and you can see what they look like and stuff. I don't know. How far back can you go?
I don't know, dude. I think a lot of people don't go back before technology or before social media.
It's hard too, because I remember, I don't know, it could go both ways, because now, I see what you're saying. You get a lot of clips of little things going on these days. But then back, I remember my dad, people used to do a lot of those photos, and you go development and put them in a nice little book and keep them that way. But
how far back did that go? That only went back to maybe his parents.
That went back to my childhood, but yeah.
Okay, to your childhood.
Yeah,
So,
but now, once I grew up, that's a good point. It transitioned over to social media, so now everything's.
but that's my point though, because for example, those photos book you're talking about, I have those photo books as well. But those photo books are filled with my grandparents and my parents. So it's I can see pictures of my grandparents, but I can't see past that. Do you have pictures
I
of
see
your
what you're saying.
great grandparents?
So the history's gonna be. Yeah, I see what you're
So
saying.
that's why I'm saying I think we're second generation because we still have those books with pictures.
Yeah.
But we don't have anything or know anything before that. That's kind of mind blowing to me.
It is, but then again, you don't know if before they had the technology and it's just been gone.
Yeah.
Because you cannot possibly know anything from 200 or 100 years ago.
You can't.
And so people are born and you're just anyone could tell you anything. You can make your own history and that's it. And then you're going to believe it or not or whatever, you're going to think it's that. Yeah. But you truly don't know anything. Nothing. You don't know anything.
To just kind of go back, back when we were kids, how we kind of gone through it all, the generations about how technology has evolved with us. It's crazy to think when I went to school, now you can kind of go to social media or not social media, but go online and or create an app, have an app, and you can start listening to music. Back in the day, you got to make sure you had a
your
cassette
CD.
player or had a CD that didn't skip because you moved it too much, it stopped playing. And next thing you know, it evolved to the iPods or iPad, whatever they call it, 30 gigs, and you can submit some music, and it took 24 hours sometimes, depending how much data you put in. And now dial-up internet, like make those alien noises when it's turning up, and nobody can use the line because you're on
The phone,
online.
yeah. The
Yeah.
first thing I used was LimeWire.
Yeah,
LimeWire,
LimeWire.
yeah.
That was the first thing I used.
Even,
What
even,
viruses did you use?
None.
oh man, I used to computers. I mean, I used to jam out the computers a lot. No, ruin them because all the virus, at least for me, like
I don't think I ever got any. I was
like,
good.
MySpace, I felt like I got a lot from
Did you
there.
get viruses?
I had MySpace. Yeah,
Did you get viruses?
I don't remember, dude.
Just
You would have
computer slows down a
remembered.
lot, huh?
Huh?
You just take like 2 to 3 minutes to load a page.
It always did, but
Yeah.
I don't even know if that was because of a virus or
Yes.
not.
Yeah, I
I
remember-
thought that was just because it was
Normal.
always normal. It was always normal to load forever.
Social media, dude. MySpace was only on the computer,
Yeah.
and now it's on phones.
Phones, yeah. I remember people wanted to go on MySpace. They had to get a computer. It was like, oh, you don't have a MySpace? Like,
I don't have a computer.
yeah, man. And then what else? Even the text messaging and calling, you had to call people after 9 to not get the extra charges. I mean, I'm sure you guys,
Yeah.
when you guys were, doing the whole phones things, were you guys had those type of services back then, or
Nah,
that was
we were not in it when it was that way.
But it was different though because we didn't have unlimited internet when we
It
started.
was unlimited. It was like
Now it's
1
unlimited.
gig.
It was like it was like 1 gig. It was like
for
one
like
gig,
$100.
1 gig unlimited talking text.
No, not even.
$100.
Oh yeah, limited talking. Yeah.
$100. And now, dude, you get unlimited everything for like
Everything.
$60.
That's crazy.
Y'all just don't know how to use dial-up right. I rock net zero.
Net zero. I
Zero.
use net zero. Yeah, dude. I don't know, dude. Crazy stuff, dude. But I guess we figured out that aliens do exist.
Right?
I guess we didn't agree on how the pyramids were built.
Facebook is dead.
Facebook is dead, according to Jorge.
TikTok gotta jump on TikTok.
You got to jump on TikTok if you want to be successful nowadays.
Shit.
What else?
Next thing you're gonna see me on TikTok
Dancing.
making all those dancing videos.
I don't know. I think that was really it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't. You didn't accomplish you convincing us about Facebook. TikTok. I don't
dude.
think
Dude,
you're not a very good salesperson.
you're a
on
Grinch.
that.
You're a Grinch, dude. You're an old soul.
I can't say that I'm never gonna do it. I know
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it
Yeah.
eventually. Just hoping I do it ASAP because it seems like, that is the next. I mean, who knows? Facebook eventually is gonna fade away. I see what you're saying. Instagram eventually. So it's good to start adapting. So when that does happen, that transition is not that hard.
Because the market is, you have to follow the market, and the market will be all these kids for the last 5 years,
And that's part
and
of
the
like
new ones.
we can't always stick to the same thing because that's part of evolving. If you want to be successful, you got to keep adapting because people change.
Yeah.
Our minds change with the way we think. What I used to think like a year or two have changed a lot. Before I used to, for example, like when
Believe in aliens.
that's the little things like for example,
No,
like when
yeah.
people would do something to me, I was like I used to take it really at heart. But now, like, what? They probably didn't mean it. Maybe it came a different way. Like, now, like, like you learn to give people the benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe they're just the way they are. They're just saying things a different way. Same thing like this. Like, we got to adapt within the business. With if we don't want to adapt or create new ideas and adapt with them, we're gonna stay behind. And how are we gonna be successful if we're not adapting with a new generation?
That's true. So with that being said, if you were to put your money on one what would you call it? Not social media. Yeah, I guess social media, right?
Make sure you show me a platform.
Platform. What would you put it on? We got Instagram, we got Facebook, we got TikTok, we have YouTube,
Snapchat.
Snapchat.
Like your guys's or
No, it's
mine?
just in general.
Honestly, right now, I'll be a 50-50 between Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
Instagram and
Yeah.
Facebook.
Well, Facebook, you got your following, no? That's what you've been using. You're familiar with it, todo.
Yeah, so Facebook, I use it to kind of keep up with, like, it's kind of
Your
like
clients,
interacting,
todo, sí.
replies, see what's going on in people's personal life, they accomplished something, going back to school, for example, seeing people, what they've done with, getting a home or et cetera. Like, I feel like there's different type of moments. Instagram feels like, you see people's little story, a little clips of their day, things like, other posts a little bit different, because where you post on Facebook, you're not gonna post it on Instagram. Yeah, and you don't want to do the same thing because what would somebody bother looking at Facebook if you're posting the same thing? So you gotta you gotta entertain each side.
What about you? You're
What
gonna
was the
say
question?
TikTok.
What was the question?
What platform would you pick?
Let me
I think it'd
guess.
be
I know
TikTok.
TikTok.
Yeah. I think it'd be, 'cause honestly, dude, you see everybody blowing up on that platform. You see everything. I mean, every profession you see on there. A lot of people think it's just kids dancing. That's how it started.
Yeah.
But you see everything on there. All the big people are going there. Instagram, I don't think it's ever going to go away, to be honest. Because a lot of times when people are flexing, they flex on Instagram, for example. You know, how many followers you have, like sports teams, right? Like Madrid has like 500 or Cristiano has 600 million followers, right? The Rock. All these celebrities are when they want to flex, they flex on Instagram. They don't flex on TikTok. So I think Instagram will stay, pero pienso que the next runner-up is Facebook. ¿Me entiendes? Instagram se va a quedar y TikTok es donde se está creciendo. So the new Instagram is going to be you know what I'm saying?
No,
It's faces.
not here. And I don't think it's too much about this that we don't like. TikTok, it's just like we feel uncomfortable adapting to that new.
Yeah.
And we just gotta make that effort to learn it. And once we learn it and start doing it, it might take a month for now, a month or so. But once we start doing it, it's gonna work out. But just starting, I think, is the most. I don't know. Like for me, uncomfortable.
I think so too. It's
It is.
uncomfortable to start.
But you know, I think at the end of the day, I think for the reason why we haven't done it is we didn't want to juggle too many. And como dices tú, you don't want to put the same thing that you put on Instagram, put on TikTok. Like, should be a little different, or something like that. But
because otherwise your followers from or like Instagram were like, okay, so we just saw that, so why would
Yeah,
we see
exactly.
it again? But when you have different content and
or
different,
we could have TikTok. It just be all conspiracies, dude.
conspiracies, yeah,
Yeah, we could just be talking about TikTok conspiracies. Instagram professional.
chupacabras now.
Yeah, I put all my money on YouTube.
You too?
Yeah, he does YouTube.
I think YouTube's gonna be where it's at. And
But YouTube's been along since 2007, though.
I know,
It's not
but
where
it's growing.
it's not
still
where
growing.
it's at.
It's still growing.
I think it's been there.
No,
just
I
there.
don't
Does
think
Google
so.
run YouTube?
Yeah, Google owns YouTube.
Because I know back in our childhood, it was people thought it was going to be fade away, but then once Google it adapted pretty good.
Dude, this guy got rid of cable and his wife only watches YouTube. That's like my
Yeah.
point.
I don't
Like,
have cable and I don't watch YouTube.
You don't watch any YouTube?
No.
It's
Zero
entertaining,
YouTube.
I think
Yeah.
so.
I do. You can watch anything on
The
YouTube.
only
That's
time
a rabbit hole right
the
there.
only time I use YouTube is to listen to music.
Dude,
The
you
rap
are
videos.
old, dude. You are old, dude.
Yeah,
How old are you, if you don't mind?
34.
34. Okay.
But I was
thought you were
listening
younger,
like
bro.
the music I was listening to is YouTube. I don't have Apple Music. I told you.
You use YouTube Music or whatever?
No, I just go on there and put the
Oh,
song.
man.
And he goes on the web browser, types the Y, so he can find the YouTube app like his son.
Oh, man.
Blocked it, right?
Yeah, because his
Yeah.
wife blocked
Like
it.
he watches a lot of YouTube, but I think he's just the reason why he watches a lot of YouTube is because he's got a lot of time when he's doing his stuff, right? So he just puts on headphones and that's it. But that's not everybody. Everybody when they're working, they're doing something. They're not listening to something, right? If they do, they listen to music. ¿Me entiendes?
It's true.
Um,
I guess I'm the little weird one. I listen to music if I vibe, like I'll start listening to it. But I want to listen to certain music or certain person. I'm weird like that. I could be the person driving with just silence.
You can?
Yeah, I can.
can't
My wife
do
always
that.
gives me crap for that. I was like,
I
how can you
can't
drive
do
like
that.
this?
I can't drive like that.
I could, yeah. También silence.
It's relaxing, like just being like
Because the whole time you're always listening to something. As soon as you go into the car, you want to listen to something. Why can't you just peace and drive?
relax. Yeah,
Yeah.
Enjoy the ride. That's why. The way.
So let me ask you this: you watch YouTube? How long do you watch YouTube for?
Lately, I haven't. Just
No. Like if you were to watch something, how long do you watch it? Do
How
you
long
watch a
can you
show?
sit? How long can you sit?
So before I started, no, my hands full. But when I was watching it, maybe like every day I was watching maybe like an hour or so.
Now, what do you watch though? What would you watch?
Now
A
you
show?
want- Man, I'm gonna be a little embarrassed now. I was watching things my wife watches because she's on the TV.
Like what?
Like she watches like YouTubers like us always and like certain YouTubers that she follows that.
But it's just a YouTuber then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's not like a show
No
or
show
like.
or nothing like that.
That's
Novelas.
technically like a
Oh, yeah,
show.
yeah,
That's
no.
a show.
Yeah. Or my son will be having like like the whole dinosaurs like documentary about
Yeah,
things
okay,
like that.
okay.
So things people have their opinion.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm like, dude, because I cannot sit there and watch an hour long YouTube. So
I could do. I mean, eventually it gets old, but for me, an hour it's good. It gets you like you come home, you kind of relax, take your shoes off, you kick back, and maybe crack a beer or something, just watching TV for a little bit. And if you're watching a show, YouTubers, I mean, it's cool. Like even people that talk about like for example, I was talking about the podcast I was watching, and when I saw you guys, like, oh, that's pretty cool. It's kind of similar, and so little things like that. Instead of watching cable, I was watching that. Or like my son would turn the TV on, like, oh, about dinosaurs or about, things about like what we're talking about right now about aliens and things like that come up a lot on YouTube. So
They do.
and they get you distracted. It's like, oh man, better things. You can kind of go to YouTube, type something that you kind of relates, and then you'll get into it.
I think, dude, I can watch YouTube for hours. It's like a rabbit hole for me, from one thing to another to another. And then I start telling him, I'm like, dude, where'd you learn that? I'm like, YouTube. He's like, dude, you watch. He like gives me crap about it all the time. But I'm like, dude, I'm not an expert in anything, but I feel like I can have a conversation about most things. Because like I've heard like a lot of things on there. If it's either clips or like I get into a rabbit hole and start watching like documentaries about a specific thing, or like I'm watching a podcast and they're talking about a specific topic. Like it's just random for me.
Like for me, like obviously growing up, like my dad did a lot of construction, so when I helped him, I didn't focus too much about it, right? So I didn't really learn a lot of things out of it, but now being a homeowner, like I kind of forgot about, because I didn't put too much interest into it. So now if I want to do something at home or do some fixing plumbing, like I'm not a plumber, what do? I just go to YouTube go to Google, and it pulls up YouTube and somebody shows you how to do something.
But I think everybody does that though. I do that too. ¿Me entiendes? Everyone could go on there. Oh, how do you do this? And you just look at it. Yeah. But what I'm trying to tell him, I don't sit there and watch hours or listen for something for an hour or over an hour. I just don't. ¿Me entiendes?
Yeah.
And I think YouTube in the past have always been, you watch something and learn something, or watch something to figure out how to do something. And I think it still goes on, right?
Yeah.
Pero YouTube has been around since 2007, and and a lot of YouTubers have made their money from it. But I think at this point, hay mucha gente. So está así. Y está así, and then there's aquí, ¿me entiendes?
Yeah.
Or there's this much right here, y acá.
So it's harder to grow right now.
It is harder to grow. Okay. That's what I think, to be honest. By the way, follow us on YouTube, guys.
But yeah, I'm definitely, now that I know that you guys are on YouTube, I'm going to keep watching you guys on YouTube too. So
Yeah, man.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Helps us out a lot. Well, dude, we appreciate you coming through today.
Wait, on that point, what are your socials?
That's what I was gonna get to, John.
Oh man, so
Come on, John.
Come on,
join
John.
us,
We're
man.
rookies.
all right, so I think I'm under like what? Man,
Yeah, you just change your name on there.
yeah, because I created like two. I have the personal and my I think it's MC dot underscore your lender, something like that. Can I put my phone and kind of make sure?
Yeah.
All right. So on Instagram is Mario.c underscore your lender. So that's where I'm at. And then Facebook, let's see here. I think Facebook, you can find it under my name, Mario A. Cervantes. I have that. And so, whatever you guys need, I'm there to help. Like even a simple question, second guidance, like just to kind of get you in the right direction. I'm there to help.
Like I said, I've personally known this guy for maybe 8 years or so.
Possibly more, man.
Maybe a little bit longer than that. And he's helped me out several times too. Anytime that I have any banking questions, he helps me out. He helped me open up a business account through Wells Fargo. So this guy's helped me out a lot in the past several years. So I've worked with him, so I recommend him. You guys have any questions, give him a call, shoot him a message on your favorite platform. If it's Facebook or Instagram, will most likely be Facebook, not Instagram. Because everybody's on Facebook.
Yeah.
Not TikTok. No one's gonna hit him about
Yeah,
TikTok.
yeah,
because
yeah,
no one is on
yeah.
TikTok.
But if you start dancing, you're like, oh, yeah,
Mario Cervantes.
Mario Cervantes is a
The
dancer.
dancer.
the lender, the dancer. Yeah, maybe there'll be more money
Dude,
there.
there you
Who
go.
knows?
Yeah.
You never know.
Hey, he's like, if
Yeah.
there's money dancing, he's like, I'll dance.
Yeah,
So
dude.
hit him up on his socials. We'll put the links on there too. So let's go, man. Thank you.
And then first, and also Jorge and Alan, thank you for inviting me. And then your name, sorry? John, thank you very much. It was I feel really blessed being with you guys here. Thank you for the invite, and also people keep watching them. They're awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's go.